David Hamilton, we are on the Kentucky River today. Tell us what your job is.
I'm the engineer on staff with the Kentucky River Authority. There's 14 locks and dams that basically run from Carrollton, Kentucky, where the Ohio River and the Kentucky River join together. We are a state agency, took over the operation and ownership of the Kentucky River dams.
Now, are those numbered accordingly? Where's number one?
Yeah, so they start downriver. So the very first lock is about 4 miles up the Kentucky River. Then they are numbered consecutively. So the one here in Frankfort is lock number 4. The very last one up near Heidelberg is lock number 14.
Now, by 2007, all but one lock was closed on the Kentucky River. Now, why is that?
Maintenance-wise, there was a lot of work that needed to be done. Typically, a major lock rehab will be on the order of about $1 million, $1.5 million. It's the type of work where you need heavy equipment. A lot of the work's underwater. A typical rehab project will take about 6 months to complete per lock.
And today we're here to announce the reopening of some of those locks.
We rehabbed lock 3 and 4 and locks 1 and 2, so that opens up travel from the Ohio River all the way up to lock and dam number 5. So it's about an 82-mile stretch of river that's now navigable and connected to the Ohio River. Those will be open beginning Memorial Day.
Would you be so kind as to let us lock through one?
Let's do it.
Can we do that?
Yeah.
Talk about the history of the lock and dam system on the Kentucky River.
Okay, well, these originally were built back in the early 1830 range.
Wow.
They didn't complete the entire system till about 1917. They were originally built for commerce to be able to bring goods out. At that time, you didn't have railroads yet. Obviously, you didn't have roadways. So that was your interstate system. So before the locks and dams were built, they essentially had to wait for what they called tides or floods to basically get water that was high enough to where they could just float goods out. So the locks and dams were built so that they could create enough slack water pools so that the commerce could travel up and down the river. Up until the year 2001, that was when the last commercial navigation was on the Kentucky. It was a sand and gravel barge that ran out of Frankfort here. So at that point, the Kentucky River Authority took over ownership of most of the structures and began operating them for recreational traffic. Lock and dam number 4. On the left, you'll see the lock approach, the steel lock gates, and that's the side you want to stay to. Ordinarily, we'll have danger buoys. You can see how hard it is to see that dam on the right, but that's, a 12-foot drop. If the water inside the lock chamber isn't equal to the pool that you're in, then they've got to open the valves and fill the lock chamber before we can get in there.
Tell us about the structures that we see and at what point that work was done and what,
This wall was updated. It used to be a concrete wall that was founded on timbers, and that was leaning into the river. So that's relatively recent, 30 years old or so. The dam is essentially the same dam as it was. It was rebuilt in the late 1800s. It's been recapped with concrete over the years, most recently as the late 1990s. The lock gates were originally wood timber lock gates. Those have been updated to steel lock gates. But the stone masonry lock walls are exactly the same as they were when they were originally built back in the 1830s.
Let's talk about locking through for those unfamiliar with that. What is the process? When you pull up to that lock, what do you have to do to lock through?
As far as coming in, if it's a busy day, the lockmaster will be down on the lock wall, and as they see the boats approaching, they'll give them direction on where they need to position their boat. They can also reach them on Marine Radio Channel 13. And then once those are open, they'll direct us to enter into the lock chamber, and they manually operate the gates, the valves. So it's a lot more hands-on than what probably a lot of people are used to. But it's really a simple process. The technology is the same. as it was back in the 1830s when they built these. Generally, the lock masters will be down on the lock wall and they throw the ropes down to basically hold the boats in place. There's another set of valves on the downstream set of gates which will open. That'll drain the water out of the pit, essentially like a big giant bathtub. And then once it reaches lower pool level, that takes the pressure off the lower set of gates and they can open those and ready to go on our way.
So people won't be confused, David, there is a limit. There's not going to be somebody out there every day. It's just on the weekends, correct?
That's right. So beginning Memorial Day weekend and running through the end of October, there'll be locks 1, 2, 3, and 4 will all be operated Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Hours generally are 10 a.m. until 7:30 p.m. There's no cost to go through. You don't need an appointment, just show up. The lockmaster will see you down there. We do got a few extra holiday lockages, Memorial Day Monday, Labor Day Monday, and the Monday around the July 4th holiday are 3 additional lockages.
You can have some happy boaters.
I hope so.